Number 9, take a look at that scowling face, the face of a man determined to bring down and shake out and weed out communists in government. In 1950, Senator Joseph McCarthy charged that there were 57 communists being hidden by the government in the State Department and that the federal government was infested with Reds. It turned out, after 4 years of his reign of terror, that all of the charges he made, with his ever-rising numbers, were false. McCarthy went too far when he took on the Army, represented by attorney Joseph Welch. McCarthy alleging that the Army was infested with communists and was soft on weeding them out. McCarthy accused the federal government of high treason, and part of the Great Red Scare ended when Joseph McCarthy was censured by the United States Senate and had to resign in disgrace. What we have here is gold. There's gold in them there bags, and silver. So, take a look. Silver ore from Virginia City, Nevada, the battle-born state in 1864. The silver rush of the late 1850s supplanted the California gold rush, and more people came out to become hard rock miners in Virginia City. Over $750 million of this blue muck, as it was called, because when it's wet it's clay-like, produced vast amounts of wealth to the city of San Francisco, which grew in leaps and bounds after the gold in California petered out, leaving mostly only hard rock quartzite gold, which had to be mined in hard rock mines. This is the end of a drill bit used to drill into the hard rock, with water spraying through the little holes in the middle, and that way you would dynamite the rock and blow it up. Number 11 brings us to the Civil War, 1861 to 1865. In 1863, after a much-needed bare Union victory, Abraham Lincoln gave his momentous Gettysburg Address. These Civil War bullets, actual musket balls, and bullets from the Civil War are testament to the bloody Battle of Gettysburg. Civil War, of course, began because of the relationship between the cotton economy of the South and the cotton crop and slavery. 11 states seceded from the Union, but we were determined not to let secession be the way. All men are created equal, proclaimed Lincoln, which was echoed in the great civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s, beginning with the Supreme Court ruling in its landmark case, Brown versus Board of Education in 1954. Hey, that's my birth year. But not all schools desegregated according to the court order. Even by 1957, the South stood firm in resisting desegregation, and the Battle of Little Rock was on when Dwight D. Eisenhower, President of the United States, sent in U.S. troops to escort 9 African-American students. Still, the crusade marched on, literally, through 1965 with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King and Ralph Abernathy leading a march in Selma, Alabama, to make it across this bridge past police with tear gas, batons, and attack dogs in order to secure the right to vote, a right which had been granted at the end of the Civil War by the 15th Amendment, but denied by almost all southern states. The Selma March led to the eventual creation and passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Now then, talking about all men are created equal, or at least proclaiming that such is the case, the momentous Declaration of Independence, also a declaration of war or declaration of treason against the British Empire, laid forth the course that America would be dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal, and girls too, but that didn't happen until a little bit later. Kicking off the American Revolution in one mainstream event was what was known as the Boston Tea Party. Yes, these are original Tea Partiers. Tea Partiers of today aren't quite as violent. They don't tar and feather you and force hot tea down your throat. But they sure have their opinions about taxes and liberty. Let's just hang around and see what happens later, folks.